It was a crisp morning in Willow Grove when a sharp pop shattered the quiet. I bolted upright in bed, heart racing, wondering if a car had backfired. But something gnawed at me, urging me to check outside. Throwing on a hoodie, I rushed to the front window and froze. My sleek silver Audi, my pride and joy, was slumped to one side, the front tire slashed flat. My stomach churned, but what sent my blood boiling was the sight of Helen, our HOA president, standing across the street on her pristine lawn, smirking like she'd just won a prize. When she caught my eye, she didn't flinch. "You're loaded. Get a new one," she shouted, loud enough for the whole block to hear. I stood there, jaw clenched, disbelief washing over me. Was this really happening? Grabbing my phone, I stormed outside, but Helen had already sauntered back to her house, that smug grin still plastered on her face. She had no idea that in just a few hours, she'd be facing not only a crowd of furious neighbors, but police officers with handcuffs ready. 3 months ago, I'd moved into Willow Grove, a picture-perfect neighborhood with tree-lined streets and manicured lawns. This was my dream home, earned through years of grinding at my job. The Audi wasn't about flexing, it was a reward for a promotion I'd clawed my way to after a decade of dedication. But from the moment I arrived, Helen Marshall, the self-crowned queen of Willow Grove and HOA president, had it out for me. At my first community meeting, she barely acknowledged me before launching into a speech about preserving the neighborhood's charm. Her eyes locked on me like I was a stain on her perfect world. Within a week, I got my first citation for improper trash bin placement, even though my bins matched everyone else's. The next week, it was for excessive lawn decor. I had one tiny ceramic turtle by my mailbox. We never had issues until certain people showed up. I overheard her hiss to another board member as I walked my dog past the community center. Her cold stares and whispered jabs became routine. I tried to play nice, flashing smiles when we crossed paths, but she'd just purse her lips and turn away like I was in VY Cybele. Helen's resentment grew sharper by the day. She started slipping notes in my mailbox, scolding me for flaunting wealth and claiming my car was tanking property values. It was absurd. Plenty of neighbors had fancy cars, but mine was her obsession. When I hosted a small housewarming party, just 10 friends chatting on my patio with soft music, Helen called the cops at 6 p.m., claiming we were disturbing the peace. The tension kept building. Neighbors started whispering that Helen was bad-mouthing me, calling me a show-off who didn't belong. One neighbor, Susan, pulled me aside and warned that Helen had a history of targeting newcomers who challenged her reign. When I applied to join the Neighborhood Beautification Committee, my application vanished twice. Then came the tire incident. That morning, I found a note under my windshield wiper. "Some of us work for a levying instead of parading our money." The handwriting matched the citations I'd been collecting. I inspected the tire and saw a clean gash in the sidewall. This wasn't a random puncture, it was sabotage. A week earlier, after a string of threatening notes, I'd quietly installed a motion-activated security camera over my driveway. I hadn't told a soul. Now, I was grateful for it. I raced inside and pulled up the footage. There it was, clear as day. At 4:30 a.m., Helen crept up my driveway, glanced around, pulled a knife from her sleeve, and stabbed my tire. The VY Deo was undeniable. Fury surged through me, but I forced myself to stay calm. I called my neighbor Tom, an HOA board member who'd been kind to me. He came over, watched the footage, and shook his head. "This isn't just HOA drama," he said. "This is a crime." That afternoon, Tom helped me round up neighbors who'd also suffered Helen's wrath. We marched to her house as a group. When she opened the door, her usual smirk flickered at the sight of us. "We need to talk about what you did to my car," I said, holding up my phone with the VY Deo ready. She rolled her eyes. "I have no idea what you're talking about." I hit play. Her face drained of color, but she recovered fast. "So what? You're rich. One tire's nothing. Maybe now you'll stop VYing your wealth in our faces." Her casual venom stunned the group. "This isn't about the tire," Tom cut in. "It's about vandalism and harassment. We're done with it." Then one by one, neighbors spoke up. Lisa from down the street said Helen had scratched her car after a spat over a fence. Mark from the corner revealed Helen had smashed his custom mailbox when he opposed her at an HOA meeting. Emily, another newbie, shared how Helen had invented violations to bully her into compliance. Helen's smug mask cracked. "You're all ungrateful," she screamed. "I'm the only one keeping this place respectable." Tom, who'd been texting quietly, looked up. "The police are coming, Helen. We're pressing charges, and the HOA board is reviewing your position." Her eyes widened. "You can't do this." "I saw the HOA," she sputtered. But her voice had lost its edge. Within minutes, 2 police cruisers rolled up. The officers watched the video and took statements from the group. As they explained that Helen was being arrested for vandalism and criminal mischief, she unraveled. "This is outrageous. I was protecting our property values," she shrieked as they cuffed her. "That car doesn't belong here. Saw it doesn't belong here." Not one neighbor defended her. Her famous smirk was gone as she was led to the cruiser, still ranting about my Audi and my flashy lifestyle. A crowd had gathered, watching in stunned silence as Willow Grove's tyrant was driven away. The fallout was swift. The police uncovered that Helen had been skimming HOA funds for years, using the money to punish residents she disliked and reward her loyalists. She'd faked complaints and cooked the books to fuel her vendettas. 3 weeks later, Helen stood in court, a shadow of the imperious figure we knew. She was convicted of vandalism, criminal mischief, and embezzlement. The judge sentenced her to 6 months of probation, community service, and ordered her to pay due law $1,200 for my tire, plus other damages. She was banned for life from any HOA or community role. "But I gave everything to this neighborhood," she cried, her voice breaking. The judge was unmoved. "The neighborhood deserves better." As she was let out, she shot me a final, hateful glare, but her power was gone. Willow Grove felt lighter after that. For the first time, I felt like I belonged. But the story doesn't end there. What do you think? Was Helen just a bully protecting her turf? Or did she truly believe she was SAVYing the neighborhood? Should I have confronted her sooner, or was gathering the neighbors the right call? And what about the HOA shoe to be scrapped altogether after this mess? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Hit that like button if this story got you fired up, and subscribe for more real-life drama. Let's keep this conversation going. Thank you for taking the time to listen to today's story on Store of Good Stories. If this story touched your heart or made you think, don't forget to hit like and share the video to spread this positive message to more people. And if this is your first time here, make sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any of the meaningful stories we share every week. Your support is the biggest motivation for Store of Good Stories to keep bringing heartfelt and valuable stories to you. See you in the next video.